Welcome back to the world of Star Wars. So this is going to be a bit different because this time I'm rating the boss fights. And what I essentially defined as a boss was a special enemy with a health bar. And what I mean by special is that it's not just like a normal enemy that just showed up for the first time and therefore it has a health bar. The only one I accidentally included of that type is this one. I didn't intend to do that, but I accidentally did it. So yeah, that's that. And you can see the different tiers is trash enemy trash boss fights. It's pretty much boss fights that you either you can't lose them or like if you lose them, you seriously like it shouldn't be possible. Which unfortunately the first boss fight of the game is going in there. And it's not a bad boss fight. It's just you can't lose. No matter what you do, you're going to get to the cutscene. If you die, you get to the cutscene. If you beat her, you get to the. If you damage her enough, you get to the cutscene. So it's not really like easy or anything because you can't lose, and that's kind. And this is not by story or whatever. It's only on difficulty. I want to make that 100% clear. Story-wise, the boss fight is really good, but difficulty-wise, it's trash. That's just the reality of the situation. That's just what it is. So now we have the second boss fight against Trilla. And the second boss fight, obviously, you can lose, but she doesn't really do that much different. She speeds around a bit. She has the jump red attack, and she has the speed red attack, but she doesn't really do that much still. Like, she's not gonna start hitting you hard and taking you out. She's just kind of still kind of easy. So I think I'm gonna put her at super easy because she kind of is. I might move her around a bit if it turns out there's too many boss fights ending up there. And now we have the bounty hunters. Now the bounty hunters, I was debating on including. I'm not gonna every single normal variation of them, and I didn't include the ones from Survivor because they're the same type. They do the same stuff. I'm only really including characters from different games. They change a lot, and the bounty hunter to just stay kind of the same. The only notable bounty hunter is Cage here. So they're all going in super easy because they're just super easy. Also, but at the same time, I think they're harder than that boss fight down there. So I'm gonna put them at a higher like thing. Surprisingly, actually, you are the easiest bounty hunters by far. Actually, I think you're easier than that. The hardest bounty hunter for me has always been the robot. It might be a controversial because I think a lot of people think the dude with the shield is the hardest, but it's just like the robot is the most difficult. And now we have the Ninth Sister. So the Ninth Sister's attacks is pretty straightforward. She just slams her saber into the ground, creating a small shockwave. She can run into you with her shoulder, and she has a spinning attack when you get halfway down to HP, where she does spinning thingy with her blade, which is a red attack. And that's kind of it. She doesn't really do that much in the fight, and she's not that difficult. She's definitely more difficult than the other enemies so far on the list, but it's still like she's not the hardest. Let's leave it at that. So I think I'm going to go easy because once again she doesn't do that much. She doesn't have that many rush attacks. She just kinda easy. And then we have Gogora. See, now it's a big enemy, obviously. But the funny thing about Gogora is that it's one of those bosses where if you don't know how to beat her, she's kind of difficult. But if you know what to do, she's laughably easy. Because the way you beat Gogora is by hitting her hands enough so her face falls down and you can get a lot of damage in. But if you don't know that's what you gotta do, then you have had a decent amount of problems with her. At least I did when I first played the game. When I played it on my channel, it was easy because I knew what to do. But back then, I did not. That's kind of why that Gogora is a little harder to place than the stuff so far. So I think I'm gonna place her. I think I'm gonna place it right here. I don't think she's super easy. She can definitely kill you a few times, but it's more like you have to really notice what she's doing and figure out what to do against her to really be able to do anything. And now we have an interesting one. Taron Malakos himself. So, funny enough, I have played through the game twice. First time, Taron Malakos was not that much difficult, but he was very difficult the second time. Like, I died a decent amount of times against him. But that's not really because he's the most difficult boss in the game. I'm just shit at parrying, and that's kind of what you have to do in Taron Malakos boss fight. My skill in the game is avoiding the red attack because it's just my reflex to dodge. And Taron Malakos, the entire thing about him is that you need to parry. You know? Like, that's kind of the whole point. Which makes it's kind of difficult, which makes him more difficult than the others. And this is based off of my experience in the game, which means he's going into he's going into decent because, as I said, it's my experience in the game, and he just feels more difficult because I'm not that good at parrying, which is the main thing you got to do against him. And then we have Trilla Sendari, I think it's the name. Now, Trilla is interesting because I couldn't actually beat her the first time I went through the game on Jedi Master, and then I turned it down to Jedi Knight, and now I've beaten her on Jedi Grandmaster. Because her most damaging attack is a speed, where she turns red and she speeds towards you, she grabs you, and she's like choking you, I think. But it's very easy to avoid if you just jump. And most of her attacks, like she can stomp the ground and a shockwave of energy, a shockwave of attack comes out. She can throw her saber. Randomly, the fight she summons a damn, like one of those flying robots that shoots laser beams. I don't know why. She has a flashbang, I'm pretty sure. And then she has, of course, her swings close. She has a jump attack that turns red. She has a lot of different options, and she's very fast. But, like, as long as you stay away from her and stay away, and then only attack when she's not moving for a decent amount of bit. You don't really need to do anything else, and then you can slowly whittle down her health and beat her pretty easy. Like, a lot of bosses has a playstyle you need to use on them. And a lot of them are like, okay, as long as you do these things, you should win no matter what. Which makes them not that hard, which is why I'm gonna put her... I don't think she's overall more difficult than Malakos, so I'm gonna put her right here. And now we have the legendary beasts. So, the legendary beasts are kind of interesting because I didn't know where to include them or not. Mainly because they're not really, like, they're not story bosses. But they're still bosses, so I decided to include them. But the problem with those are, for example, let's take Trilla. By the time you reach Trilla, realistically speaking, right, you could have every single stim in the game, and then of course she's going to be easier than, let's say, this fight, if you had like only the starter stims. Okay, I don't know what just happened. My OBS just completely fucked up. That whoops. So what was I on about? Right. So Octo is a special case with the stims thing because he is on Bogano. So if you meet Octo first, the moment you go off Bogano and you only have 2 stims, you have not gotten anything else, you have no extra health, you have barely any abilities, he's very difficult. But if you beat him when you're meeting Trilla the 3rd time, then it's like, what? I just realized I forgot a Trilla fight. Because there's 3 fights, and there's the first one you can't beat, there's the second one down the elevator, there's the third one at the Bogano Vault, and then there's the 4th one at the temple. Okay, that's my fault. The 3rd one, I would argue, is actually super easy as well, because you barely have to damage her, strangely enough. So I think I'll just put it, like, here, maybe? Yeah, probably. Anyway, so Octo is a bit annoying to place because of that, but I'm just gonna place him just out of his sheer difficulty, and I don't really think he gets much more difficult than bottom of super easy. Because, like, he doesn't, like, he deals these amount of damage, but it's like he's very slow. He doesn't move very fast. He's very easy to deal with. The albino Binoshock is kind of the same. It's not like the arena you fight it in is pretty decently big. The only really problem is if you get whipped up, which is easy enough to avoid. But I think it is more difficult than Octo, surprisingly enough. I had more trouble with that. I think this is the Yotas. And this thing is scary. It will not stop hitting you. It will continue to hit you. It's raging attack and it will not stop. Which is why I'm actually going to place it above Gagara. Not above the Ninth Sister, but above Gagara. Because Gagara, if you know what to do, if you know how to beat it, the attacks, how it moves to go into attack is so obvious that you're barely going to get hit. The Yotas is just going to continue coming in. So you're just going to run away constantly. Which makes it a bit more difficult, I feel like. You're just gonna go right here. Because, again, this thing is just... I don't remember what that is called. I think it's called a Nidec Alpha. But it just keeps attacking you. It keeps swinging. It keeps hitting you. It's just kind of what it does. But it also gets tired, unlike the Rabbit Yotas, so it stops moving for a bit, which makes it incredibly easy to just, like, well, hit it. It has a very easy opportunity to hit it, unlike the Rabbit Yotas. So now we have the Ninth Sister on Coruscant. So she's kind of the same as the Ninth Sister in Fallen Order, just, well, easier. Also, she does some sort of weird predicting your movement shit. I don't understand why that's a thing. It's just kind of weird. I don't know how to rank that because it's like it doesn't really help her all that much. I feel like when I fought her, it just felt more like a gimmick than helping her. It just felt kind of useless, not gonna lie. So I don't think I'm actually gonna I think like I'm just gonna ignore that and put her like top of super easy because like sure you can die to her, but like she's not that difficult. And now we have the one-armed freak Dagon Gera. So this is the first fight against Dagon, and once again I beat it first try, and it's like again he's not that difficult. I feel like the Ninth Sister is actually harder. So I feel like I'm gonna put him like just I want to place him here, just below him. And now we have one of Dagon's lightsaber crazed psychopaths. And ironically enough, I think this dude is more difficult than Dagon. I think I'm actually gonna place him above Dagon. I feel like he was harder than Dagon Gera, which is kind of funny. Also, you're gonna get put down here. Sorry, but you just are. You're not difficult, my guy. You just have a blaster. Like, you're flying around, I can just keep blocking it back and just dodge your red attacks. Easy. You're getting put down, sorry. And this dude, he's a fucking moron because he uses Jakata. And it's got, like, I don't know if you noticed, but sometimes he'll actually save on his attack. He's actually using Jakata, and he's doing it the worst way possible, and it's hilarious. And it's kind of funny at the same time. So I think I'm gonna place the Jakata moron, like, right below Dagon, because he's really laughably easy. And now we have the second fight against Dagon Gera. So obviously that's more difficult than the first, and he actually starts being decently difficult. But he's not I think I'm gonna place him, like, right below the mythical beasts. Because, like, the mythical beasts I still feel like are more difficult than him. And now we have Ravis. So, if any one of you watched my video on Ravis, you'll know that I spent hours trying to beat that boss fight. Literal hours, and I kept dying. Because I am not the best at this game. But Ravis, he toyed around me like he just kept murdering me. And it's like the first half of the fight is pretty easy. It's pretty easy. Then he starts healing. Like, I'm not talking about he heals his health bar. No. If you notice during the fight, he's actually regaining a small bit amount of HP every second. and he just keeps hitting. He has so many red attacks. He fires missiles. He has a damn whip staff who just keeps hitting. And it's just like he's barely giving you an opportunity to hit back. Uh, so I think he's the most difficult of the boss fights so far, and I'm actually gonna put him at hard. And then we have Rick the Daughter. So I did actually beat Rick. I cheesed the fight and got away because he's a god. Like, I mean, like, what am I supposed to do? What do you want me to do? I can't beat him. Like, what? It's Rick the Daughter Edition. What do you want me to do? He's a god. I just ran because, like, what am I supposed to do? Shoot him? Does nothing. Hit him with a lightsaber? It does nothing. So no. And then we have, I think his name is Fist of Ravis. It's like a special version of those guys with the hammer. And those guys with the hammer, I hate those guys. They're definitely more difficult than these. I think I'm gonna put them like above the Ninth Sister. Actually, like the Ninth Sister was kind of easy. Not gonna lie. Like the thing about a lot of the bosses is that they're trying to make the bosses hard. They end up making really big red attacks. But a lot of times the smaller enemies just has harder time to actually hit them. And also I have sometimes harder time just finding the smaller enemies, which is kind of funny. And then we have the final fight against Dakin Gera. So, ironically, I think I'm gonna put him, the final fight against Dakin, below Trilla. Because he's not that difficult. I mean, like, I think I died more on Dakin than Trilla. But on Trilla, I had died like 4 times, and I kept shit-talking the fight. And I was like, okay, I keep shit-talking this fight, and I'm getting pissed off. I'm getting pissed off, so I'm just gonna shut up, and then I'm gonna kick Trilla's stupid ass. And then I won. If I'd done that against Dagon, I probably also would have won. And then we have this fight, which is going, it's going right here. To be clear, that's not the final fight. It's the fight where you don't have any stims. Because you can't win. It's the same thing as the first Trilla fight. It's just an unbeatable fight. There's nowhere to put it. I just realized it's supposed to be like this. Like you fight Beta first. And then we have the Dark Lord of the Sith Beta. He's a very interesting enemy because unlike literally every other enemy on this list, Cal doesn't fight him. Seer does. So if Cal fought him, I believe he would be on guard. Because the reason he was so, like, a lot of people had trouble with him. The one thing I learned recently is that the reason I struggled so much with Vader was because it's like Terran Malachus. He's a enemy you gotta parry constantly. That's what you gotta do. But I shit at parrying. So you might say, oh, that's why you're gonna put him really hard, even though he's easy because you're shit at parrying. Which would be true if not for the fact that as Seer, you actually get an improved parry window on Grandmaster. A whole 2 seconds, actually. So if I'd known that, I probably would have kicked his ass. But I didn't. So I died a lot. So I'm actually going to put Vader right below Ravis. The reason being that I kept talking during the Vader fight, and he only has like 1 phase. And Ravis is like more difficult for me than Raider, even though I died more than Vader, because like if I'd known about the parry window, I'd kick his ass either way. Ravis is just the most difficult boss fight in the game of main bosses, in my opinion. And then we have Bode Akuna. So the thing about Bode is that he obviously has his blasters, but like the first phase of the fight, I got through rather quickly. Well, rather. But it's still not that difficult. The second part of the fight had an attack where he's speeding towards you, and then he plants a bomb on your back. I don't know how many times I got hit that but I don't know how many times I got hit by that attack. It was so ridiculous, and I was so pissed the fuck off because I swear to God I dodged it every single time. Until I learned that you can just jump and he can't hit you with it, and then I pretty much got through the fight very easily. And then his last phase just goes full on airbender. Like I don't know what it is about him and Dagon here, but they kept hitting me with air like they're fucking airbenders. So apparently like they're Aang's siblings or something, or children, I don't know. But as I said, the moment I learned I could dodge the attack by jumping, he got easy. So Bode, I'm sorry to say this, but you're just gonna be you're gonna be right here. You're not tough. And then we have Cage. So she's ironically enough, Cage. Like the first time I fought her, the second time I died really quickly. Until I learned if you want to beat Cage, just use your force push to constantly bring her towards you. It breaks her guard a little, and then you just start hitting with your blade. And then I pretty much beat her like my third attempt. So like enemies with weaknesses like that can just be exploited so easily and then killed is kind of laughable. So I think I'm just gonna put her like maybe I'm right above the Jakarta, dude. I feel like because like that maybe right above that. Maybe right above this dude, since I did technically screw it. I'm putting her here. I did technically die to her, so she deserves a little higher, but that's all she's getting. And then we have the Rancor. Now the Rancor is a beast. That thing is so damn difficult. And first time I beat it, I didn't know about the bone trick. I did in the video, but I didn't know about the bone trick in like first time I beat it when I first played through the game. I didn't know about that, which is funny, but I didn't. But even then, the Rancor's movements are pretty big, so it's not like the hardest fight. I believe some of the story boss fights, were probably more difficult. So I actually think I'm gonna give the Rancor right above Bode, maybe? I think he deserves to be above everybody but Trilla, I feel like, because once again, Trilla's boss fight is kinda bullshit. Because I'm pretty sure the only 3 boss fights that I tried without talking was Trilla, Ravus, and Vader. Because those are the only boss fights where I really got pissed off. Like, I did that boat as well, but that's because of that stupid dash attack he kept hitting me with. The moment that I started jumping over that, I got to the 3rd phase, and like at that point it was just because I was tired. Like, he's not that difficult. And so Trillis is kind of interesting because of that, but I truly believe that she is one of the more difficult ones. I'm not gonna rank you. You're not a boss. Then we have Spawn of Octo. Now, Spawn of Octo can go fuck itself. I want to put it in trash just because that it deserves to be there. But I have to respect it. The second hardest boss because why is a frog harder than everything else? It's a frog. But I gotta be fair. And now we have this thing that I defeated first try and didn't even notice it was a boss. I don't even know when I defeated it, but like I definitely did at one point in the series. I didn't even realize it was a boss, and I just won. I don't know. Actually, I don't remember if I realized it, but it was laughably easy. So I think I'm gonna put you like right above the robot bounty. Oh, I think I'm gonna put it right below bounty hunter. Like, you're just easy. This is a special version of the Magna Guard. The Magna Guard is kind of interesting. It's kind of difficult, but it's not like super difficult. I think I'm gonna put her right below Cage because it's kind of still easy, but then I think I died like once maybe. And then we have, I don't remember what you're called, but you're a special version of the Rhinoceros. I did fight you, but I don't really remember because like this is recorded literally a few days before I upload it. I probably should have did it when I was more fresh off of just playing the games. But as far as I remember, the Rhinoceros was relatively easy. So I'm just gonna put you right here, maybe. And then we have this freaking mother. I hate this thing. It's annoying to fight. But like as long as you stay distantly, it's pretty easy. So I think I'm just gonna put it with the rest of the damn beasts, right above, back in second fight. Actually, I think I'm gonna put you up to decent, and then we have this thing, which actually killed me surprisingly amount of times, which is kind of funny. So I think I'm gonna put it right below the Yotas, because it was still when I've just got it into Survivor again. Because you have to remember, we have to account for the fact that some of the boss fights earlier on, like for example, let's say, the first fight against the second fight against the ninth sister. I didn't die in that fight, but imagine if I died like 5 times. Even then, I still think I would have put it maybe a little higher, but still down there, because it's like I don't really die. I didn't really die to it because it was difficult. I died to it because I was inexperienced. You know. Now we have the Golden Striton. So the thing about the Golden Striton is that the normal Striton is easy enough, but I watched a video recently about someone who was taking down the Golden Striton, right? And one thing he mentioned is that you just gotta stay behind it. And that's kind of laughable because I didn't do that. I was just standing lightsaber blocking and fighting, hitting its damn claw, which apparently is an idiotic and the most difficult way to take it down. But even then, it wasn't that difficult. But apparently, it has an easy weakness, so it's definitely not getting decent like I was planning to put it in before I realized that. So I think I'm just gonna put it like, it still killed me a decent amount. So I think I'm gonna put it right below the Night Axe Spider. Is there anything I want to change before I end the video? Anything at all? I don't believe so. Okay. I think I'm gonna put Bode above Malakos, because if you know how to parry, then Bode is a lot harder than Malakos. So I think I'm gonna put Bode above Malakos. Also, side note, just to be clear, I didn't choose any of these pictures, so I don't know why Malakos' picture is just his stomach, or why this picture of this thing is just. I didn't have any options for pictures. I don't know, but like, yeah. So this is an interesting. If you agree with my list, type in the comments. If you think I am stupid and that I voted something wrong, fair. Everyone has that different opinion. But well, I think I'm going to end the video here. If you liked the video, please if you liked and subscribe. And I hope everyone watching has a wonderful day and see you next time.